So what we're trying to say here and do is we're trying to say there's this incredible, unbelievable potential that lives inside you. We're trying to say that we are not in any way separate from the earth and the water and the plants and the animals and the fire and the sky that our whole world and universe is composed of. We're not separate in any way. What we see and smell and taste and touch and every experience that we have, we are totally a part of. Totally. And this potential, everything that has made all of that has made us. Humanity is not separate from nature. Humanity is a part of nature. Totally. Nature is a part of humanity. We are not outside of it in any way. So whatever has made the whole universe has made us, and that power is inside us. We don't know that because we're born into this world wrapped in all of the suffering, all of the anguish, all of the fear and trauma, all the pain that our ancestors endured in their journey in this world is transmitted to us. And we're born wrapped in this covering of the disappointments of our ancestors. And in that environment, with parents who, through no fault of their own, didn't have what we needed, who couldn't give us what was necessary for us to become, to break out of that wrapping, we become conditioned, really adapted to the compensation mechanisms that our parents were adapted, have developed in adaptation to their parents, adaptation to their parents, etc., and so forth, ad infinitum. And we live in this world compensated and conditioned, to a perspective which is completely, first of all, wrong, and second of all, inadequate to, the simple necessities that we require to find peace and happiness in this world. That's what we're saying. And we're saying that this potential that lives inside us can be released. It's not a permanent curse. It's a curse that can go away. Curse is I'm trying to be slightly humorous. It can go away, but it takes somebody who has had that curse removed from them to remove it from you. It takes somebody who's a little bit awake to wake you. And when that awakening happens, the energy inside you, that extraordinary resource that is called forth from you by someone who is awakened themselves will awaken in you. And if you are able to feel that resource in yourself, you can feel it in you. If you can, with your own mind, touch your heart and touch your deepest place over and over and over and over again, if you can bring your mind into your heart and feeling your heart find the joy and the beauty and the strength that is that power which has made the whole universe, then you will, go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Well, actually, from a caterpillar to a golden eagle. Our practice, the practice that we do, is, first of all, to awaken that energy, to live our lives in connection with the awakened dimension of the universe, and to cultivate that awakening within ourselves ever more deeply until that infinite resource, that unimaginable possibility that is alive within us every moment of our life, it can be fully awakened and completely expressed. Far out. That's what we're doing here. This isn't rocket science. It's like unbelievably simple, really. And I know you may think, oh, this is a little bit complicated because you learned a breathing exercise. Well, the thing about the breathing exercise is the simplest demonstration of life inside us is our breath. And retraining ourselves, retraining the way we breathe to, connect to and transform literally transform much of the tissue that we are composed of, which has become constrained as a part of the wrapping. To breathe deeply, to open our rib cage, to open the tendons and the ligaments that bind our chest together, and our guts, and our head, to allow for more breath, more range of motion of the breath in our bodies, is a very simple part of the beginning of the process. Because, we are taught in the Western world that our body is one thing and our mind is something else. But everybody who's, ever read a book on physiology by now understands that's bullshit. Our body and our mind are one and the same. And expanding the range of motion of our breath is the beginning of expanding the range of motion of the subtle breath within our body, which is the beginning of generating an ever more deeply penetrating flow of creative energy in us. And as I stated about 2 weeks ago, flow is everything. The flow of breath in our body clears away stagnation and brings about health. The flow of the breath in our chakras opens our heart and clears our mind and takes away all our fears and anxiety and insecurity. And that flow opens the door within us that allows us to see and experience our total interconnectedness with everything and the oneness of awareness itself. It's not complicated. It's simple. And the difficulty that you may find in it is because you were hardwired to something else. You were hardwired to the disappointments of your ancestors, and that, is an obstacle. And that makes any spiritual practice, and especially this spiritual practice, this kind of spiritual practice, work. Because it's work when your mind is running away from you, dragging you all over the place. It's work. And that's not a joke. Our mind basically drags us all over the sidewalk and the alley and the dirt and everything else, and just completely fucks us over. Our own mind does it to us, nothing else. Our own mind makes our life hell, and our own mind makes our life heaven. Our own mind. And when we take charge responsibility for our mind and begin to make it quiet and bring it into connection with our heart and alignment with our deepest creative energy, then that unimaginable possibility is fully awakened. The wrapping that we are encased in is fully dissolved, and unconditional love is manifesting itself everywhere as a beautiful life for us, and more beauty for every person who our life touches. How do we know when we're on the right path? When we're doing it? We know when every day we make the effort, and it's not complicated. It just takes a little while to bring our heart and mind and breath into alignment. It's easy. It's only hard because your heads are so screwed around that, and you've never understood that you needed to make the effort or actually made the effort to bring that brain of yours into contact with your heart and begin to, open a deeper, finer place within you. That's why it's hard, because you've never done it. It's just like touching your toes. It's hard until you made the effort 2 weeks in a row, and then you can put your palms flat on the floor if you want to. That's the first thing. The second thing is, we know we're on the right path when we are growing connection with the people that we share our life with, not burning up and destroying connections and blowing up bridges and burning them. We know when, even if somebody leaves our life, we are holding an open space for that person, for whatever. We know that unconditional love is the basic place that we live and stand, and connection, because connection is the reality of it all, connection is what we are always available for. Free of judgment, free of, any tension. We live our life totally established in the flow of creative energy that is the universe from within ourselves. From within ourselves, we live in the awareness of the flow and the connection. The connection and the flow. And constantly surrendering our entanglements and our tensions, we ever increasingly become unconditional love. And at the end of the day, all of us leave this world. And there are only 3 ways to leave it. Frozen, semi-frozen, and completely evaporated. It's up to you. You get to choose. Namaste, everybody.